One of my favourite subjects, and probably one of the reasons why I actually became a coach, body dysmorphia, because this is something that near enough ruined my life, that near enough ruined probably up to about my 20s, because I used to really not be confident in my body. I used to hate how I looked. As you can see here with these photos, this is taken of me during university. I'm literally there tensing so hard, trying to make it look like I lift, trying to make it look like I'm in decent shape. And yes, you probably argue my arms look quite good there, but in my head, I look terrible. And I used to avoid photos like the plague. Literally, there'd be like a group photo, and I'd always, joys of being tall by the way, stand right at the back, and they'll go 3, 2, 1, and I'll just duck. So I don't actually have that many before photos because I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel worthy to be in photos. And look, my old goal used to be to weigh 100 kilos because I'd be massive. And I used to want to weigh 100 kilos because I thought it would make me phenomenal at rugby. I'll be bouncing people off for fun. But little did I know, when I hit that 100 kilos in that photo there, I could barely even run 80 meters. Literally, I'll be sprinting and I'll be like, after running 2 meters. Because I sacrificed so much trying to look that way. It came at the expense of my fitness and my health and my relationship of food. At that point, if I missed a meal, when I got home, I would shot olive oil. Sometimes, if you've ever shot olive oil, you know how disgusting it is. It would make me throw up. And then when I would throw up, I would then do another shot because I've just wasted the calories. And this is where I really talk a lot about body dysmorphia and why this means so much to me, because it has screwed up my life a lot as well. And I have done a lot of work on myself to make me feel better about myself rather than always worrying about my aesthetics. Because in that photo of me playing rugby, did quite well on Tinder by the way, and quite well on Hinge. But that photo of me playing rugby, funny enough, the other photo is me there, obviously topless. Weight-wise was probably the same. I probably wasn't in roughly the same sort of muscular condition at that point in my life. But in the right one where I am topless, that was taken probably a few months ago, I felt a lot better about myself. I would actually be confident enough to take my t-shirt off in a public setting. In the one of me playing rugby, sorry, and this is what I try to explain to people, that was me near enough fresh out of university. I was probably about 22. I didn't have a job, so I was spending 2 or 3 hours in the gym every single day to just try to get that level of a physique. In my earlier days, I thought only skinny people had body dysmorphia. I didn't realise people who were overweight also had body dysmorphia, because I couldn't understand at that point in my life why people who were overweight would feel bad about themselves. Because I was like, it's so much harder for someone like me who's, when I started, used to weigh probably about 65 kilos, who literally had arms the size of that. I used to look at people who were slightly overweight and think, fuck, I wish I had to do it your way. I wish I had to lose the weight rather than gain the weight. And that's before I became a coach. And this is what I try to explain to a lot of people, it's when people tell me you don't know what it's like to be overweight, factually correct, kind of, because I've just lost a fair bit of weight recently because I came back from Christmas a little bit too chubby for my liking, gearing up for a event that I'm doing. But, by the by, but yes, I don't really know what it's like to be 20, 30 kilos overweight, but I do know what it's like to look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror and think you look like a piece of shit. Why are you bothering with the gym? You look terrible. I know exactly how that feeling is because I've been through this myself. I've been through that for about 10 years. My very humble opinion, I think social media needs to take a lot of responsibility when it comes down to body dysmorphia, because I think social media is really fucking a lot of us up when it comes down to our body image. Because for one of the first times in human history, we are able to compare ourselves to the top 0.0001 genetics of people. We don't compare ourselves to the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musks of the world, but we compare ourselves to the people who are in the top 0.001 genetics. And that's where social media, I think, is starting to royally screw us over. Because I remember when Twilight came out, so many girls, and guys as well, so many girls were like, oh my God, Jacob is so hot. Look at him, look at his body, he's massive. But the reality is, in nowadays standards, he's not perceived to be as big and as good in shape as he once was. And look, this goes for like Brad Pitt in Fight Club and loads of other movies. But social media is just causing such unrealistic expectations on what is actually achievable. And this is where I just think body dysmorphia is going to continue to be on the rise, because steroids are getting bigger, people are doing better cycles. You have a lot of, bodybuilders who don't quite make it, who are literally having their hearts explode because they're chasing that ideal body type so much. And this is where I just think social media is so deadly. So, how did I help my body dysmorphia? How did I overcome? I don't want to say overcome, because there's still times I look at myself and I still don't feel good about myself. That is normal. But what can we do to make your body dysmorphia a little bit better? Now, look, when it comes down to your health and fitness, it is your health and fitness. You get to pick the goalposts. You get to pick what your goals are. You get to pick what makes you happy. Doesn't matter what bird down the street thinks. Doesn't matter what those little geeky people who are like internet trolls think. It matters what you think. What makes you happy. So really sit down and think about what your goals should be. Because a huge thing I talk about a lot now is we need to have a really good why. We need to have a really good why on why you want to do this within your health and your fitness, because the moment we start focusing on your why, we can really start moving you away from just everything has to be appearance based, everything has to be weight focused. Let's just say, Stan, I want to lose 10 kilos. Why? You want to feel more confident. Why? So, more present. Why do you want to be more present? Enjoy life more. And look, that's just a very quick one. Normally I'd probably say we want to go about 10 to 20 whys deep. But all of a sudden, rather than focusing on, I just want to lose 10 kilos to make myself happy, to you want to enjoy life more, you realise you enjoying life more doesn't necessarily need a six-pack. You enjoying life more doesn't need massive arms. You enjoying life more doesn't need a lot of the things that you think that your body should look like. Because if you're going to be more present and you're enjoying life more, I've never, ever in my life had anyone sit down with me and think, you know what, Jordan, you don't have abs anymore. You know what? Fuck you. I'm not your friend anymore. But that's just something in our head that we think that we need to make ourselves happy. We think that our friends are going to be more nicer to us. We think, do you mean that I've never had a friend when I came back from Christmas and I was a little bit overweight say, Jordan, mate, you've put on 5 kilos over Christmas and until you're back down to about 95, we cannot be your friends anymore. Do you mean that sort of stuff doesn't happen? But I want to drop a little bit of weight, and I've done quite well. Luckily, I'm quite good at my job in terms of dropping that weight, because I want to be able to enjoy my life more. Because when I do my high rocks, I want to post a better time. So it's not necessarily focusing on that number there. It's focusing on what actually truly matters to you. And when you realise what truly matters to you, you realise 10 kilos and your body fat actually means jack shit. Look, this is Chris Bumstead. If you don't know who he is, 4-time Mr. Olympia, one of the most successful bodybuilders out there. Currently, arguably, the best bodybuilding physique out there, because he's won Mr. Olympia 4 years in a row.
You can go nowhere without a hoodie, because some days I feel skinny, I feel small, I don't have a pump, and I need to start my workout with a hoodie, so I make sure I always have one on backup.
That's a 4-time Mr. Olympia. If he doesn't feel ultimately obscenely confident about himself, that he feels big, what hope do we have? And this is where focusing on this sort of stuff will help your body dysmorphia, because you start changing your value set on who you are as a person, away from your body fat percentage, away from your weight, into the type of person that you are. Because a lot of these people that we're comparing ourselves to on social media are not natural. The supplement industries became huge, and the scary thing is the supplement industry is now bigger than the coaching industry. I say now bigger, it's been bigger for years than the coaching industry, because they have people who are on and off cycle, who look phenomenal, who are lying to you, misleading you, who literally their entire job is to look that way. And here's the thing, you cannot compare yourself to someone on social media. You cannot compare yourself with people who you're not willing to completely swap your entire life with. And the analogy I use is like, look at Prince Harry. He's Prince of the UK. Like, what a job. What a thing to be born into. But you can't just swap being Prince of the UK for where you are now. You have to swap losing your mum at a young age. You have to swap always being chased by paparazzis. You have to swap questioning who your true friends are, if they're actually with you because you're the Prince of the UK. Do you know what I mean? You have to swap everything. And the same goes for like these fitness models on social media. A lot of them, they get paid by a clothing company. Gymshark can pay upwards of £10,000 a month. They normally pay by a meal prep company, so they don't even have to cook their food. They're paid by a coaching program, or they own a gym or something like that. So they literally don't have to work. They literally get paid to look a certain way. And unless if you can get your life into a situation where you're getting paid to look a certain way, you know, £10,000 to £15,000 a month just to look like that, you can't really compare yourself to someone else. Because if you have a job, if you have kids, if you have a family life, if you want to prioritize going out and enjoying life with your friends and stuff, it's hard to compare yourself to those people because we're not on a level playing field. So by just focusing on feeling more confident in situations, and this is why I don't really sit nowadays with a six-pack, because 9 times out of 10 I'm wearing a t-shirt. So all that sacrifice that would be required for me to go get abs is going to be a complete waste of time, because I'm not going to be going out with my friends and enjoying the moment. I'm not going to be going out eventually on date nights and having the food that I want. I'm not going to be going out having a few beers after work with my friends. That to me is more important than just my weight. That to me is more important than having a six-pack, because it comes down to your why. And it's like Jimmy Carr says, what is the meaning of life? Is enjoying the passage of time. I don't think sitting there with fucking thick skin, body fat percentages is a good way to enjoy the passage of time.